Hello, everyone. Welcome to Some Like It Classic. I'm Tami Goveia, joined once more by the amazing, profoundly talented event planner, Edward Perotti. Hi, Ed.
Hi there. How are you doing?
Oh, do you have a little friend with you?
You know, I picked this guy up at Disney, and he now flies with me because I always carry my anxiety with me. I just thought he was so perfect, and instead of people talking about me and my anxieties, I would just lean into it.
He is precious and adorable, just like you.
I know, right? It's like, okay, so
Oh!
it's been that kind of week, so be prepared.
Are we prepared to talk about the sci-fi classic from 1951, The Day the Earth Stood Still?
Yes, we are.
Are we?
Yeah, it's so funny because I remember seeing this when
Oh,
I
you're
was
not that old.
well, okay, but old enough to remember seeing it in a theater when it had a revival at the
Ooh.
Coronet.
Ooh.
You know that theater.
It's so, you and I, we are simpatico because the very first note I have is one of the many movies I'd love to see in the movie theater and wish I could have, but in particular in 1951.
Yes. Oh, I
Because of
would have
just,
to have been in the audience at that point. Now, when I was younger, first time seeing it, I was bored to tears, right? Because it is a very much it is rather intellectual in just its messaging and how it's shot, and it's not really that action packed. It's it's a message. It's a message story. But
agreed.
I, as I got older and I've watched it repeatedly now, it's a really good message.
Yes, it's a timeless one, and we'll
Yeah.
get into those timeless messages. For folks who haven't seen this film, again, it's literally, from what I took a deep dive into, it's the sci-fi film that kicked off and paved the way for all the other sci-fi films to follow, because there was definitely a theme in the 1950s, these sci-fi films that were all about being invaded, the world, America being threatened by aliens, which is a camouflage for Cold War era communism, Russia, Democrats, whatever you want to call them. That's from one of the lines in the film. I wrote this down.
Well, the Democrats were the evil party.
Well, yeah,
So
sure. It's in the boarding house. It's one of those conversations where they're all having breakfast, and the alien spaceship has landed and nobody knows what's going on. And one of the guys says, "Why doesn't the government do something? That's what I'd like to know." And one of the other guys says, "What can they do? They're only people just like us." And the guy responds, "People in my foot, they're Democrats."
I know I shouldn't find that funny, but I do.
It's priceless. Like, come on. It's just priceless. So for folks who are not familiar with this film, screenplay was written by Edmund H. North, based on the 1940 science fiction short story Farewell to the Master by Harry Bates. 20th Century Fox, produced by Julian Blaustein and directed by Robert Weiss, about an alien visitor offering salvation to planet Earth who seems to be hell-bent on self-destruction.
It's a mouthful.
Yes, it is, and nothing's changed. We've got to start off with the cast.
Yes,
because it's a small but very mighty cast, and it's one of those ensemble pieces that if the characters aren't written well, you really don't care.
Right.
Especially the lead, Michael Rennie, who plays our alien savior, shall we say, Klaatu. Or
Thank
Mr.
you for
Klaatu.
saying that. Did you check that? Because I between he and the alien, the names, I'm like, who the hell came up with those names?
Yeah. So Klaatu, Klaatu, and they had the same response you did, Ed, and said we need to give them a regular human name because there's going to be a disconnect.
Great.
There's totally going to be a disconnect, and look at him. Do you know the backstory, the casting of this gentleman?
No.
Studios, well, 20th Century Fox in particular, wanted obviously a star in this role. Spencer Tracy was considered, which I can never see him in this role. You agree? Okay.
Yeah.
And Claude Rains.
No.
Well,
I mean, from a physical perspective, no way for either one of them.
Completely different from the direction they decided to go in, right? Because Mr. Rennie was 6'1", or he was significantly taller than had they gone with Claude. But Spencer didn't have this for me, but Claude Rains had that gravitas, had that very serious, you need to understand how grave this situation is.
I have a hard time seeing him. I really do. I don't, to me, it would be like having, I can't even think of his name, Superman in From Here to Eternity. I probably would have giggled watching, right? Because it's his physical, the physical shape just felt so in line with the Centurion, with the alien. So you're kind of, the first impression is there another humanoid, whatever, is the alien a suit for one of them? Because they were both very tall, very imposing, but very slender. They had this, it could be, a Sigourney Weaver, get away from her, you bitch, kind of moment inside of
right.
But I could see it from a performance perspective, but not a physical.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And so the studios decided to go with a no name. They didn't want, because people knew Claude Rains, they knew Spencer Tracy. So there's expectations of what an audience wants to see. So they chose this stage performer, this Brit, who you can totally see his stage experience.
Oh, you can see him doing Hamlet with the jawline and the nose, and everything about him is Shakespeare.
Absolutely. Stoic,
and a skull to hold and talk to it, right?
Yeah, very commanding presence.
Yeah.
Yes. And then of course we have Patricia Neal, who I'd completely forgotten was in this movie. Completely forgotten.
Yeah,
Shame
and and look at that face. Right?
She's such a baby. She's such
a baby. She looks, and she was very innocent, but I love the fact of she performed it. I should say performed it. the representation of that innocent American, right? But strength. But what,
Yes.
how in the 50s we would kind of expect the single mom to behave, kind of go in line, but yet still be a little bit of a rebel. And I loved everything about her because she looked frail. She's a small woman. She's not a big woman, and you would think that she would snap. And I just love the fact that from a performance standpoint, this to me just laid it out of, I'm here to stay in Hollywood.
Yes.
I mean, she held her own in it, and it is kind of funny because you're right. I think most people forget that she's in this.
These types of films are usually 99% male cast, and you've got the one female who's kind of an ingenue, or she may be a scientist, or she may be a doctor or a journalist, but there is that scream, and even she collapses and needs to be rescued and saved, and that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
In this film with Mrs. Benson. She is she's very clear about what her priorities are, and that's her. How old is her son, do you think? Like 9?
I was going to say no more than 10 years old.
Yeah. I do, before we get to the kid, we've got the supporting cast, Hugh Marlowe, which plays the boyfriend, Tom Stevens. And oh my gosh, I was watching the film and I totally thought he was Richard, from Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh.
And they came from Mars. Richard.
I totally see that.
Right?
Yeah.
But then I looked it up. It's like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. That's not him. But they could. And I actually looked up both actors, and they're literally a year apart. So they must have gone up against the same roles.
I'm a little upset looking at these pictures side by side because that's what my hair used to look like, and this is what it looks like now.
We've got Sam Jaffe. I think that's how you pronounce the last name. Professor Bernhardt, who I love his character. He plays this quirky scientist that Mr. Carpenter, the alien, really believes is the only human being that has any common sense, that he can try to convince the Earth's in trouble. And if you don't listen, mass destruction is on the horizon.
Did he ever play any other kind of part? Because every time I see him, I always see him in that professor role.
Well, back then, the character actors played the same roles over and over again. And that, they didn't boo-hoo it. That was their bread and butter, and fine. I'll play this cowboy for the rest of my life, or I'll play this quirky mad scientist for the rest of my life. It pays the mortgage. I'm game.
Okay, and let's get it straight. I think both of us would do the same thing in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
But since no one's offered, we're just going to talk about people who do it. And I think we also, before you also dig into the story, draw a line in the sand that I'm going to tell the audience, you need to watch this version first and maybe think twice about the remake with Keanu Reeves.
You know how I feel about remakes.
100%. And it's this one nails the soul down in what it represents and what it means and everything. The other one was just, let's just say it was just.
It was just.
Right?
I'm so going to use that. I'm so going to use that. When I need to be really polite, it was just. I love it.
And then look at them and say, I forgive you.
We have to talk about the boy, Patricia Neal, Mrs. Benson's son, Billy Gray, who played Bobby Benson. What did you think about him?
Like every other child star in Hollywood of that time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, did he have a little range? Yes. I look at this picture and I can't get away from seeing Aunt B in the background.
I know. Frances Bavier or Bavier, I don't know how you pronounce her last name, but I again forgot that she was in the movie and gasped, Aunt B, it's Aunt B.
Well, it also looks like behind Patricia Neal is Eugene Levy, but it's not.
It's not. Oh, you're so funny.
But I don't know. There have been very few male, young, like that 10-year-old character in the 50s in Hollywood that stood out for me. Right? Do I think he did a good job? Yeah, I think he did a really good job. But is he memorable in it? I don't know. You can hit me later. I don't think he's memorable in it. I mean, what I take away from it is really the three: Barbara, Klaatu, and the robot. Those are the three that are in my head, and more so, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, but more so, really, who the robot is.
Perfect segue. Perfect segue, because Lock Martin is the actor who played Gort, the robot, and he was actually, it's not definitive. Some say 7'1", some say 7'4". He was in that range, and if you look at his work, he primarily did a lot of like monster movies and that sort of thing because of his height.
I mean, Richard Kiel would have been, if Richard Kiel was in Hollywood in 1950s, the two of them would have went toe to toe.
Right? Don't you think?
You know, but it's, I don't, once again, the secondary characters in here are secondary. I am definitely played the 8-foot, or was actually 7-foot tall doorman at the, oh, that's how they found him. Wow.
That's where they found him. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, if anybody in the audience has ever been to the theater, you would know how you couldn't miss him then.
Yeah.
But it's this story was written for the triad. It's a hands down triad where, you know, we could talk about the secondary characters. They're the voices in the head for me.
Exactly. I don't think they stand out, and I don't think they're meant to stand out. They represent those irrational, prejudice, ridiculous, oftentimes voices that represents the United States, right? Different factions in the United States, different mindsets. But they're not what the story is about, to your point.
So, you know, you just opened the door for me, so I'm going to go for it. So for the audience, watch the secondary characters, and see if you see the same characters on the news today. That's all I'm going to say. Just.
It's just.
It has not changed.
It hasn't changed.
You know, we haven't progressed. We haven't learned. We haven't, what I think is funny with this movie, we haven't evolved. Right? I mean, what the premise is, and what I'm not even going to say what the ask is of this movie. It's a demand. It's a threat. Right. And if that movie was accurate and they came back now, we're done.
Toast.
We're done.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're done. In fact, if anything, it's gotten worse.
It's fascinating because the studios in general wanted nothing to do with this movie. The fact that it got made, again, sprinkle of magic. You know, the fact that movies get made at all, that the thousands of pieces that need to come together in order for a film to be finished and seen is always miraculous. But I was looking at my notes. So the studios thought this film was a commercial risk, because it was considered an anti-war film.
Yep.
And it criticized military aggression. And when you watch this film, it opens up with, we'll talk about this later, with this amazing music as the background, the backdrop. And then you see this spaceship flying through the air, and it's flying across the skies of Paris, and it's flying across the skies of India, and everyone's, what's going on? And it decides to land in Washington, D.C., which I thought was priceless, and I literally laughed out loud. And what's the initial reaction?
Right.
It's bring out the guns, bring out the tanks, bring out, bazookas, whatever militia was on hand was brought out before anything happened. It landed, and that was the first response, which I kind of get. But
yes, I agree. I kind of get it. I'm not going to say that I'm anti-protection and because that's not true. However, how they portrayed them, once again, let's put it in modern times, all we need to do was give them face masks. And next thing we would have known is Katu would have been thrown in some detention center.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's the way that the behavior was very much, and I apologize for this term, but it's historical. The Reds are coming. The Reds are right.
The Red Menace.
The Red Menace is
the Red
here.
Menace.
They're coming.
Absolutely.
And be it a saucer, be it a helicopter, whatever it is, the response in the 50s would have been that. I mean, on the airways, as their news is showing it, if this was real, half the country would have been in their bomb shelters that were under their homes.
Right.
With their gas masks and everybody ready for the end of the world, which I always thought was interesting too, that they really didn't show in depth the world reaction.
No, because it seems that the U.S. was considered the leader of the world in this film, to me.
Yes.
Which is why they landed in Washington. And so, but Klaatu made it clear that the message was not to be given to just one person.
Right.
He wouldn't just speak to the president of the United States. His message needed to be heard by every single world leader collectively, which I thought was really interesting. You don't give all the answers and all the power and decisions to one person.
What does that sound like?
Exactly. It was a really good point. Someone said, when you watch this film, you're never going to change human nature. When you said things haven't evolved, things haven't changed, at the end of the day, you're talking about human nature, and that's not ever going to change. Choices and responses can come from a more evolved place, for sure, but
see, I would, and maybe it's the hopeful side of me, which, if the audience is learning about me, is rare, but the hopeful side of me.
I'm glad we're recording this moment, Ed.
We'll edit it out. That human nature can change. It's whether or not there's a desire to leave the entitled, all about me mentality. And I mean, not that I want to quote Star Trek, but we're talking about how this opened up for sci-fi, right?
Absolutely.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. And I really do think that this film was pushing that message without saying that. I mean, they couldn't have said the words, wasn't written at that point. But and coming into the US, with the US being viewed in that global position in general, Hollywood keeping the propaganda about the US alive.
Yep.
With that, we're number one. Well, the needs of the one US outweigh the needs of the many. And that's why I just think that this is, as much as it has some, production issues compared to what most audiences are used to at this point. But for 51, it was pretty advanced. But the message in this film is probably more timely now than I think it ever has been. And that's why I like watching it. That's why I like telling people to watch this one, because it doesn't matter if it was 51 or 2026.
Mm-hmm.
What they're saying and how they're behaving hasn't changed. It just, you could really draw a straight line to all the comments from 51 to 26. And it's like, what's going on, guys? Well, I mean, you're not willing to see the world differently. You're not willing to make a change. You're not willing to walk across the street and check on your neighbor, which goes into then why the Patricia Neal character was so needed, right? There was that selfish but big picture at the same time, right? Mama Bear, but Mama Bear being with everything. Not
willing
just
to give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
To a stranger.
To a stranger.
To a stranger. To your point, how some things haven't changed. It's early on in the film, he arrives, gets into a conflict, and he has to go to the hospital, and he's visited by the Secretary of State or some secretary to the president. And our alien representative is getting frustrated with the response that he's getting from the humans. No one's taking him seriously, and how the planet is in danger. Either they need to get it together or Earth is going to get annihilated. No one seems to understand this. And so the secretary dude says to him, your impatience is quite understandable. And his response is, I'm impatient with stupidity. My people have learned to live without it. And the secretary says, I'm afraid my people haven't. I'm very sorry. I wish it were otherwise. That is literally in the beginning, the first 15 minutes of the film, and it just sets the tone for what he will now be up against for the rest of the film in regards to, is there no one who has any common sense here?
Yeah, and the answer would be no. I'm sorry, we're talking about the movie, not today.
Well, are we? I mean, again,
well, and that's where it's, when you had mentioned this film, that was the first thing that popped in my head was it's way too timely. Way too timely. Wait. Carrie's actress, but she was a dummy? Front of the facing shots, Neil was held up by wires. Oh. Wait.
Oh. So our Gort robot guy, is that who's he's
7 feet. He can't pick up 5'3" Patricia Neal? I'm disappointed.
But that suit, it was actually written, that suit, they had to take him out of it every 30 minutes because he couldn't breathe. There was literally no ventilation at all. So now you're asking him, if he's already 7 feet tall, do you see the height on those boots? So he's up 8 feet at least. So that kind of makes sense. Like, let's help him out. Let's help out the actor a little bit.
Well, that's another thing.
Can you imagine Patricia Neal going, okay, I'm getting wired up here. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Well, Hollywood costumers still haven't figured out how to put zippers in costumes for,
I know. It's all wrong.
I think about Spider-Man and Superman. I'm like, how do you go to the bathroom when you're shooting for 6 hours?
You don't drink liquids.
I mean, for him, he would just rust. Yeah. He would totally just rust up like the Tin Man. But
what's funny, you were mentioning Patricia Neal and just what she had to experience. There is a Facebook page. It's called The Movie Gal. And she says, Patricia Neal admitted in interviews that she was completely unaware during the filming that the film would turn out so well and become one of the great science fiction classics of all time. She assumed it would be just another one of the then current and rather trashy flying saucer films and found it difficult to keep a straight face while saying her lines. Do you remember this scene where she has to deliver the message to the robot? Yep. And the robot is coming toward her. And he's got the little light going. And she has to have this fear. Like, it's so drama. And I was actually laughing because I'm thinking, this is Patricia Neal. She could probably kick this robot's butt. If it was up to her, she could probably kick its butt. But she had to play that.
Yep.
Terror.
You do that well.
Thank you. Some things haven't changed.
Yeah.
Oh, before we get into your amazing, what you do, the voodoo that you do so well, I want to talk about the music in this film. Because the opening of the film is spectacular because of the sound score of this film.
I was going to say, we don't talk enough about sound and actually we did before. Sound and lighting and sets are characters.
Yeah, when we did Rebecca, we
Yeah,
really took a deep dive into set and lighting and mood. And the music in this absolutely sets the mood from beginning to end. There is this foreboding, oh, this isn't good. There's a little anxiety running through this film. And what's interesting is, and I'm taking this from, it was an article from WRTI, your classical and jazz source, in 2020. It was an article written by Kevin Gordon. The composer, Bernard Herrmann, had moved to New York for this film. And he had already written a kind of sci-fi score for Orson Welles' The War of the Worlds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he understood the mission when it came to The Day the Earth Stood Still. He understood you have one job only. Well, he understood exactly what he needed to do because the music is phenomenal. And I don't know, do you ever watch British television, like the old, it's not really old, Midsummer Murders? We watch it all the time. It's a police.
Not particularly that show, but occasionally, yeah, I'll pop them on.
So Midsummer Murders, John Nettles plays DCI John Barnaby, and I have like an incredible crush on him. He's probably like 85 now, but he's just amazing. So the music for Midsummer Murders is, it's known for its theme song. The instrument that Midsummer uses in its theme song and the instrument that The Day the Earth Stood Still is called a theremin. Now, what's so cool about this instrument? It's literally this box. It looks like a cable box, and it's got these two antennas. And the person playing the instrument is playing, you never touch the actual antennas. You're touching the electromagnetic fields that are being generated. So you're plucking and you're playing air, you're playing energy. So it's a very unique, very signature sound.
Well, and it's funny how that instrument set a tone for future sci-fi.
Totally.
I mean, you hear that to this day, you kind of still hear it and it's still there. And for the audience who don't, you need to look it up, or Sheldon played it in The Big Bang Theory in one episode.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
You totally know what I'm saying.
But oh yeah, no, I know. I definitely know the instrument, and is it done with Tesla coils? Anyway, it's something on there, but it's such a distinct sound, and it is such a it's a Hollywood iconic sci-fi sound. You hear that. Don't know about this, the newer generation, but I'll say for us and back, you hear that sound and you automatically think spaceships, aliens coming, right? I mean, I even think there was one time that Looney Tunes used it for Marvin, right? Marvin's ship would come in, that there was that kind of thing going on with it. And it was brilliant to use it, and the fact that it had lasting power. I mean, like you said, this movie had input and longevity with so many other films that I am going to ask you one crucial little question, and then for everyone listening, it's a spoiler. Well, maybe not a spoiler, but your thoughts. Yes. If I'm going to put it in modern terms, look at him going with all these great little notes. Love that. If you look at the Fantastic Four comics, I think Klaatu is the Silver Surfer, and the robot, because he talks about robot annihilation. So the robot's the boss.
Right.
He's just the individual. He's the messenger. He's completely the messenger. He's not the one who's going to push the button or go back to a council of his peers and tell them to do it. He's the version that the species that they're going to will connect with. And I just think that, once again, if you look at what came out of this movie, he is the Silver Surfer. He is the messenger. He is one of the signs of the apocalypse. He is there's so many connotations that you can give with him, but he's not the villain, so to speak. It's the robot, and it's the robot's race that are the villains. And if you watch it again, look at it from that perspective, because then you see a lot more of, or understand a lot more of, his patience going away. Right? It's not so much, I've been through this so many times with so many planets, and y'all don't listen to me, and I know what's going to happen. It's not this, oh, we're going to do this and everything will be honky-dory. I have to reach over. Keep talking, Tami. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Can I have my battery is all of a sudden decided to go down.
Yes.
I need to plug in.
To your point, it reminds me of the scenario that we're in now with AI. In the film, he says, we as a race, his alien race, and the other planets have agreed to have this robot and his robots be the final decision maker. Because all they're asking is that there be no violence. Y'all can live your lives however you want to live your lives. You can be whoever you want to be, but there's to be no violence. And that's the problem with planet Earth at the time with its nuclear capabilities. Klaatu says, y'all fight amongst yourselves. Okay, it is what it is. But now you're going to take that violence into space. And now you're threatening the colonies up in space. And that's where the line needs to be drawn.
And I know you probably don't know the answer to this, but when officially did our space race start?
You know, so the moon was 63.
3.
63 was the moon. So I'm going to say at least 10 years back.
So was this movie right also at the beginning of the space race in order to tie that in? October 57. Okay. No.
Oh, 57. So, okay.
So but it is interesting that it's like, okay, now you're stepping into our territory.
Right. Well, when they say this, when Sputnik was launched in 57, it means that race had started a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is that's a really good point. It's in tandem with that.
I mean, once again,
nuclear power because of World War II. Yeah.
A solid writer with an idea of and having a lens on future and potential. I mean, like I said, this could have been written today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
danger, Will Robbins, danger.
Right. And that to me is, people will watch it and they will probably have the Patricia Neal thought that I was thinking it was going to be one of those sci-fi B-rated. And it does have its little look moments. I mean, we can't get away from that. But if you get past that part of it and get past the Earth's first Cylon with his light going back and forth across his eyes, aka Battlestar Galactica, and you really just listen to what they're saying, everybody, it's today. It is.
Do you think this could be a play?
It could. Actually, that would be an interesting on-stage experience.
Don't you think? Because you're absolutely right. What makes this film so good and solid is the conversations, is a story. It's not a bunch of special effects. It's a story. It's really good, timeless.
Well, and it's clean. It's clean and it's simple, and the message is easy to digest.
Hour and a half.
Right?
It's not a long film.
But I never even thought about that. This could easily translate on stage. There we go. How do you feel about Patricia Neal roles?
You want to be Gort? You've got the height.
I'm 6'4". What the heck? I just, I as long as I can go to the bathroom.
I was just going to say, well, we can figure it out. We'll figure it out. That'll be in your contract.
In the feet, I'll be fine. Yeah, no issues.
So let's play.
Let's play. So what I thought about doing, and the more we do these, the more we talk about them, showing visuals of other events are nice and it's great, but it doesn't give anybody practical. So I just thought I'm going to start putting together mood boards based off of how I would see the movie. If I was going to have people over, we're going to do a movie night, but we're going to have dinner and we're just going to make it a whole theme thing. So I started playing with how would I see this? And I'm like, well, big fat duh, everything has to be black and white. So, the black and white checked cloth would be very farmish, would be very much going out to the country. Going with silver plates and the silver glasses to me just screamed the ship. And then you look at that chartreuse green, that in the 50s, whenever you said alien, they were always this ugly shade of green.
Even the Blob was green.
Even the Blob. I mean, it's
right?
Marvin the Martian was chartreuse. I'm like, everybody was chartreuse. And then, how simple is it to just take mason jars? Once again, let's go to the farm and tie it back to it, fill it with water, and put glow sticks in it to give it some illumination. And then leaning into 50s food, right? Jellos and pineapple upside down cakes and fried chicken and things like that is really play with the era. And then in regards to the table setting, go how you see the movie. This is how I see the movie. It's exactly to me the movie. And like I said, I saw the plates and I kind of fell in love with them because they just look like Frisbees, which is
Awesome.
really what the spaceship was. So what I thought we're going to do from now on is I'm going to post these and people can download it and start collecting these as just movie inspirations for a dinner party as a watch party.
Yes.
So that's kind of where I would do this, especially knowing that if you're doing something at home, you're on a budget, right? You don't have the need to go out and always buy something new and kind of play with it. So as our audience watches and as they collect these, you're going to start seeing a lot of repeats, because I do believe that we're going to use these plates again in the conversation. We're going to use a tablecloth again in the conversation. So you just start collecting a couple boxes of things that you can just garanimal your tables with, and that will work in any which way for those watch parties that you want to do. What's it from an urban? What? Okay, sorry, Flo, but what? Green yells for original. Isn't that oh my gosh, what's the liqueur? The Green Fairy. I'm thinking Moulin Rouge, the Green Fairy. Absinthe. Is that
chartreuse? I thought it was clear.
No, I thought it was green. It's the one that you you pour it over the sugar cube.
Sounds
I know. And you're supposed to see a green fairy when it hits you.
The color is named after the chartreuse liqueur, which is produced by the Carthusian monks at their monastery in the Chartreuse Mountains in France.
I want you to say that entire line 10 times fast.
Right? Oh my gosh.
That's where my head is with this movie, and also keeping things very clean and simple, right? The movie's message is very simple. Do not overcomplicate it. Set the tone with your table. Exactly the tone of the movie. Kind of cold.
So you had mentioned that this is a pineapple. I thought it was crust laced.
No, that's a pineapple. That is an actual pineapple upside down cake. Okay. How you should make it. So it is, and it would be in a sheet pan, a thick sheet pan, and it's layered, and then just flip that puppy over, and all your pineapple and cherries are done in the beautiful pattern.
Have you made it?
Have I made one? Me bake? Uh-huh. I can cook. I can't bake to save my life.
I might try this because I like to bake.
Now the Jell-O, I'm really going to show my age.
This is Jell-O?
That's Jell-O.
Oh, wow. How did they do that?
Remember 1, 2, 3 Jell-O?
No.
It was so funny. My mother used to always get upset because hers would only come out as 1, 2. And then my grandma was making, she would get 1, 2, 3. It probably did something to our bodies genetically with chemicals in it. I have no idea. But you would make the Jell-O like normal, and then when you put it in the fridge, it would separate into layers. So it was a regular Jell-O, and then it was a foam Jell-O, and then so from a science perspective, the groups would separate, and then they would harden accordingly in this whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
So in the 50s, the whole idea of doing the layered Jell-Os, and then I'm not from the 50s, people. Do not send things of, damn, you look good if you were born in the 50s. But the whole idea of Jell-O or Jell-O molds, right? Ambrosia salads,
Yum.
Which are still, I know, right? It's the worst thing you could possibly have at this stage, but who cares? It's so good. But all those kind of foods that would just think mid-century modern, think that whole, entertaining on that level, but to tie it back to the movie, make it very small townish. I love him with his Cliff Clavin notes.
Jell-O, created in 1897. Wow. By Pearl, a woman, 137-year-old American icon with 22 other with 22 official flavors, strawberry being the most popular. 22 flavors.
Ugh, they probably had weird things.
Oh my gosh.
We're
Like
not
bacon jello. I bet there was bacon jello.
Well, you figure there's there rose petal. I mean, think of the 50s, they're lavender.
Yeah.
Ew. Ew. Okay.
I love this mood. It makes such a huge difference having everything in front of us at once, Ed.
Well, and then it's very simple, and that is the one thing. Even today, when we go to friends' houses when they're hosting, I don't know why people get nervous when I come over. I don't get it, because I can't believe I almost said that out loud. I was going to say I'm the least judgy person. No, I'm extremely judgy. Just for the record, my husband just walked by and he laughing hysterically when I said that. But if somebody is entertaining and they're doing it on their own, I don't judge, because they are putting themselves out there in that aspect. If I go to different events and someone else is doing the event and it's a black tie, I'm going to judge the hell out of that.
Totally.
Yeah. But it is one of those where put yourself in it. When you watch a film and you want to represent the film, I went literal with this because this is how I see it. But if there's something that grabs you in any film, a moment, a tone, whatever, use it and build off of that and have fun with it. That's why I think doing something like this is more of, okay, in my eyes, if you were to call me up and say, hey, we're coming over, we're going to have a movie night, we're going to watch this movie, you're in charge of dinner. This is what would pop in my head of when you walked in, this is how the table would be set. So that to me is for the audience, just let your imagination go and have some fun. I mean, like I said, the green is absolutely ridiculous, but it's a quirk, right? There is no green in the movie. It's a black and white movie. But in the 50s, if you were to say, what does an alien look like? You know that every kid is going to use their green color crayon.
It's interesting that I'm wearing this color today.
I did not know you were going to do that, nor did I have any insight. I know it is kind of funny.
I was picking up on your alien energy. What do aliens look like?
I was actually thinking I have a silver puffer jacket. I'm like, do I wear that? And then I looked at myself in the camera and I'm like, I look like a silver marshmallow. So no, I'm not going to
love that though.
But no, going back to the film, this is one of those, I would encourage everybody to watch it. I would encourage teenagers to watch this movie and listen to the message.
It's a simple story.
It's so relevant, so timely, and I would love for us to hear from them when they watch it. What grabbed them, right? Do they really connect with what they're seeing today? Does this movie inspire them to maybe approach things differently? It's put it in the context of what do you see when you walk out your door today? Is it the same?
One thing, I did write another line. This was also at the beginning of the film, where the Secretary of State says, I'm afraid it's a very unfortunate time that you've chosen for your visit. The world is in a state of high tension and suspicion. And I felt like somebody kicked me in the stomach because exactly what we're going through now.
Yep.
High tension and suspicion. So, as you said, I would love the younger kids not only to watch this particular film, get into classic film, get into classic Hollywood movies, because they are timeless. And the message in The Day the Earth Stood Still is so relevant. So relevant.
We didn't say one thing. Isn't this film in the National Archives?
That's a good question.
I think it's the first sci-fi movie to be put in the archives.
It would make total sense because, again, going back to the fact that it was really the kickoff point for Invaders from Mars, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, like all these sci-fi films that were to follow. This was kind of a blueprint of, oh, we can do this and let's do that.
Library of Congress, 1995.
Well, look at there.
So
look cultural,
at. Yep. So look at all you politicals out there. Our government has put this in the Library of Congress. So it's okay to watch this movie and listen to the message.
It has been approved.
It has been approved. Okay, I have to tell you, for the audience, when Tami had mentioned this film, the first words that came out of my mouth were, am I allowed to say things that are going to pop in my head politically? Because it just, and once again, I encourage everybody to watch it so you understand where my brain went. But don't lose sight of the message. Old Hollywood, classic Hollywood had it right.
Yeah.
And
they got it right.
Visionaries. And everybody else is just a carbon copy of these movies. Some of them are beautiful. Some of them have, great messaging. But go back to the original messaging. This is original messaging. And this was a director and a screenwriter who had the cojones to say it.
Yeah,
and put
it's an
it
uphill
out there.
battle.
Yeah. And 20th Century and Fox Studios for doing it. Right? I mean, it was an interesting time in America to begin with. And so anyway, I'm rambling, so I'll stop.
There's a second part to this show. Where can people find you and this mood board if they want to start collecting inspirations for throwing soirees? Soirees. It kind of sounded like Cagney there. Soirees.
A little. I was going to say something else, but I won't say it now. They can find me on Instagram at Perotti EA. I will actually put it there when this gets posted on YouTube, I'll actually dump it in one of the comments in there as well. Or you could just DM me and I'll shoot it over to you. But it's like I said, we're gonna start doing these so that people can start collecting them. If I can find the motivation, I'll go back episodes and I'll just create one for Rebecca and I'll create one for Poseidon Adventure and I'll do all that so that we can actually start having a collection of them so that people can start hosting their own.
Our Jaws episode.
Oh, that's easy. We're just gonna throw sushi on the table and call it a day. Put it in chum buckets.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining Ed and I today on Some Like It Classic. You can find me on Insta at Tami.Goveia and on Facebook at Tami Goveia. We are here monthly, picking a movie and then deciding we're going to throw a party that's going to reflect the mood or whatever impacted us about this particular film. We're going to throw a get together. And what does that look like? You can catch this show on JLJ Media. This has been a JLJ Media production. And until we meet again.